Hello everybody, welcome to another Photoshop instalment. This one's called Tilt Shift or Differential Focus. It derives from tilt shift lenses or older style 5x4 film cameras where you can either tilt the lens or the glass elements within the lens or tilt the film back, and it creates this kind of sort of reflected graduated blurring effect from either sort of top to bottom or obviously on the sides. And the original image, which is here, you can see without the effect on, was taken all in focus from an elevated position, and you can see that the obviously the differential focus effect here gives it that kind of small scale toy town effect. It helps if you start off with an image which, as I say, is taken from an elevated position. But equally, this effect works extremely well on portraits, on landscapes. So just try it out and experiment on different subject matter. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to duplicate the background layer. So go to my original image, which is the one all in focus, and I'm going to press Control J on the keyboard. This duplicates the layer, as you can see here. You can obviously drag the background to the new layer icon if you'd rather do it another way. Okay, after that we're going to set up Quick Mask. Now Quick Mask is at the bottom of the tool bar here. So I'm going to double click on this icon here, and we get something called Quick Mask Options open, and make sure you're on the selected areas like I am here. Press OK. Now you are officially in Quick Mask mode. You know you're in Quick Mask mode because the tab up here says Quick Mask, but also your layer is in Magenta. Okay, if you're not in Quick Mask mode, if you haven't got those two things, you're not in Quick Mask mode, and you have to left click this icon here again to get you into Quick Mask mode. Now, in Quick Mask mode, just to quickly explain, Quick Mask mode is I suppose it's a drawing, painting kind of selection function in Photoshop. So if you draw or paint something in this mode, you're telling Photoshop what it is that you want selected. Okay, this differential focus effect, essentially, we only want, obviously, in the top left-hand area or the bottom right-hand area in this image. In order to tell Photoshop exactly where we want it, we're going to draw a gradient in Quick Mask mode. So I'm going to choose the gradient tool here. Sometimes it's depending on what Photoshop version you're using, it's under the paint bucket tool. So you have to click on the paint bucket tool, which is roughly around here, and you'll find it underneath. But anyway, here is the gradient tool, and to set up the gradient tool you need to do the following things. You need a black to white gradient. If you haven't got a black to white gradient, press D and then X on your keyboard. Okay, I've got to press X again, but here we go. So it's black to white gradient. Make sure you're on the reflected gradient, which is 4 in from the left, this one here, and make sure the opacity is 100%. And make sure all these three boxes here are ticked on. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to click down in the area that I want to remain in focus. Okay, so this is going to be this building here. I'm going to click, drag, and then I'm going to drop in the far top left-hand corner. And in doing so, we get this magenta gradient, reflected gradient in the image. So where it's clear, that will remain in focus, and the most magenta will obviously be the most out of focus, and anywhere in between will obviously be a sort of graduated value of that blur. So we've done our gradient. All we need to do now is come out of quick mask mode. So I'm going to single left click this quick mask button here to come out. The flashing areas denote the areas that are going to be blurred. So we told Photoshop what areas we want to blur, and all we do now is we go to Filter, Blur, Lens Blur. And here we're going to use radius and blade curvature. Just going to pull the screen in a little bit here because you won't be able to see this. Here we go. So radius and blade curvature. And these are the two things that you are going to ramp up to create the effect. I've probably done it a little bit too much here. So I'm just going to back off the radius a little bit to get it a little bit clearer. But you experiment. You can experiment also with the blade curvature. But it's up to you really, just those two. Okay, press OK, and that is it. So I'm going to press Control D to take the selected areas off, and there you have your differential focus tilt shift effect. Now, for those who want a little bit of stretching, if you want to customize this, so if you wanted to take off a little bit of blur, let's say in the middle left top here, or below this white building, it's quite easy. We're going to use the good old mask skin. So click on the circle in the square icon here, and we put a white mask onto that layer. That's the differential focus layer effect. Remember, underneath is the actually in focus layer. What we're going to do, I'm going to put this back on, is if we paint black on that white layer mask, that outer focus effect on this layer will disappear. Okay? Remember, masks, if you paint black on them, you will hide that effect to the left on that layer. So we need a black brush. If you haven't got a black brush, just press D and then X again. I'm going to make sure my brush is about 10% here, so I'm just going to bring it down to 10% with the slider. So I want a very transparent black, because if I do it all at once, essentially the effect will be too much all at one go. I'm going to use a soft brush. You can choose the size of your brush and soft brushes here, but you can also use the square bracket keys, square bracket right for a big brush, square bracket left for a small brush. I want a brush roughly about this size, and I want a soft edge brush. The keyboard shortcut is Shift square bracket left several times. Okay, now I'm going to paint black here. Now watch this black building. It's going to start as I click down to come back in focus. Okay, only a little bit here. And I'm going to make my brush smaller a little bit down here. And you can see these green hedges down here. Again, they will start to come back into focus a little bit. And just here. So that is how you customize the effect if you don't want the focus to all be in one particular linear effect using the gradients. And you can see I've been painting on the mask in black here, not physically black paint on the image. And as I say, the black signifies where you're hiding that differential focus tilt shift effect we just made. And that's it really. So thanks again for watching. Try it on any image, as I say. Good luck, and look forward to seeing the results.